Today, I'm going to take a look back at WrestleMania 12. Can you believe it's been 30 years ago now since Shawn Michaels went down on that zip line to the ring at Anaheim in WrestleMania 12 in 1996? That's insane to think it's been 30 years. It just feels like, I don't know, it should be 20 years ago even? No, 30 years. So we're going to take a look back at WrestleMania 12 today. And I'm trying to do the best I can with this one. For one, there really is no proper program for it. The program for WrestleMania 12 was actually the very first WWF Raw magazine. And I do have that in this video. But even if I did have the actual WrestleMania 12 program for it, it really makes no sense to use it as the photo starting off the video for the magazine. So I'm using this one here with Bret Hart and Diesel. And the reason why is because these two were going to be going into Survivor Series 95 that year. And whoever was going to be the winner, we were pretty sure they would be defending the title at WrestleMania 12 in 1996, just a few months later. Of course, the winner was Bret the Hitman Hart. And he won the title with a small package on Diesel. Diesel, of course, powerbombed Bret and kind of went heel, but not heel. It was really weird. It was a weird time there for Big Daddy Cool in the WWF going into 1996. The night after the Royal Rumble, Big Van Vader, well, should I say the man they call Vader here, he ended up having a match on Raw and beating Savio Vega and then beating the crap out of the president of the WWF, Gorilla Monsoon. And here's the visual. This, like I said, this is also considered to be the WrestleMania 12 program magazine. And I believe the difference is somewhere here, I want to say. It will say WrestleMania 12 or something. Like you'll see that's how you know the difference. And I've seen it on eBay before for like ridiculous money just because of that. And it's not needed when you have this magazine, that's for sure. But here we see Vader attacking Gino Monsoon. Of course, Vader would get suspended for a bit and then come back for WrestleMania 12. He'd come back in a 6-man tag match involving the return of this man, Jake the Snake Roberts. For Vader, Owen Hart and the British Bulldog would tag up to wrestle Jake the Snake Roberts, Ahmed Johnson, and a newly turned babyface in Yokozuna, with Mr. Fuji at ringside waving the American flag. Here it is, WrestleMania 12. Shawn Michaels, one boy dream, one man's destiny. That's right. So, the boyhood dream became true as Shawn Michaels won the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 12 in what was a 60-minute Iron Man match that actually went over the 60 minutes with only one fall, and that's Shawn Michaels super kicking his way into victory and winning the WWF Championship. Now, I love Bret Hitman Hart, and I love the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, two of my absolute favorite wrestlers of all time. However, I find this 60 minutes match to be very, very boring. I don't like it. I really don't. I don't know if it's because the time is constantly at the bottom, so you keep seeing that and you're reminded of the hour you're wasting watching this match. Or maybe it's just because of the way they structured it. I don't know. I've heard people like Pat Patterson say, it was the greatest match I've ever seen. Oh my God, holy banana, and all this. But you know what? I don't think it was. I actually liked their 1992 Survivor Series match much better for the championship. And I just thought it was like that match was like 25 to 30 minutes long, but it was just, I don't know, it just seemed better. And I just thought this match was boring. And I've rewatched it numerous times over the years to think, well, maybe I will change this time. And at the end result's still the same. I'm just not entertained by it. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, August 1996, does a story on WrestleMania 12. You get the sweat, the tears, the glory. Shawn Michaels finally a world champion. Plus Warriors return and a full-color centerfold of Sunny in this one. Plus 16 hard-hitting pages of WrestleMania 12 coverage. So yes, that one is a pretty good one to have. It's the WrestleMania Collector Special issue by Pro Wrestling Illustrated. And if you want everything about WrestleMania 12, that's a pretty good magazine to get. As is this one too, shockingly. Wrestle America. It was the summer 1996 edition, and it has the results of WrestleMania 12. You got Shawn Michaels is magnificent, Body Donna Bliss, and the Ultimate Comeback. The wrestlers are the stars. That's right, because at WrestleMania 12, there was no Lawrence Taylor, there was no Pamela Anderson, there was no Jenny McCarthy, there was no, I don't know who else. Was it Jonathan Taylor Thomas or Nicholas Turturro or all those people that were at WrestleMania 11? That wasn't the case at WrestleMania 12. There was no celebrities at all, unless you want to count that fake billionaire Ted who was there, Ted Turner, doing that skit with the Nacho Man and the Huckster. But yeah, this is another good one to have if you want to look at the coverage of WrestleMania 12. And it's the only time you're probably ever going to see the Body Donnas on a magazine cover. The Wrestler of August 1996. Shawn Michaels, finally he has the title. Now here's what he's got to do with it. So they're already kind of going into what Shawn has to do now that he's champion from WrestleMania 12, who he has to wrestle, who he has to defeat, how he has to prove himself. And he did that. He defeated Diesel in your house, and then into the feud with the British Bulldog, and then into the thing with Vader. So he had a good run with the title. It's just the fans weren't really into wrestling at that time, right? 1996 was still a down period, even for WCW. Even with the birth of the NWO coming up, it still wasn't what it would be 2 years later, right? So it's too bad that Shawn Michaels, his championship reign kind of gets maybe underappreciated, or it wasn't fully what it could have been if maybe the fans were there at the time more so than what they were. Still a great run Shawn had. I liked it, but I was a Shawn fan. Here we go. July 1996. The Ultimate Return, exclusive interview with the Warrior. Yes, the Ultimate Warrior is back in the WWF. Came back at WrestleMania 12, defeated Hunter Hearst Helmsley in a big match, which, by the way, Sable was Hunter Hearst Helmsley's valet that night. And then, of course, the thing in the back with Mark Marrow and Hunter and Sable and all that. And that we saw the debut of Wildman Mark Marrow at WrestleMania 12. And the former Johnny B. Bad, who I had no clue was even, his contract was up. I had no clue that Mark Marrow was going to show up in the WWF. I was watching WrestleMania 12 live that night, and it's like, holy crap, Mark Morrow, as Todd Pettengill would call him, but no, Wildman Mark Marrow was there. But yes, the Ultimate Return for the Ultimate Warrior. How would this play out for the Warrior? Was big things going to happen? Well, let's see. Muscling back to the top, the Warrior is ready to rule again. Well, there he is, body slamming Owen Hart. Yes, he did wrestle the likes of Owen Hart, and I believe he wrestled Isaac Yankem on Raw. He also wrestled, he kind of wrestled Goldust for the Intercontinental Championship at In Your House. But Warrior somehow didn't fit the new generation era of 1996. I never understood why Vince McMahon wanted to bring the Warrior back. I mean, I get it. WCW had Hogan and Savage. They're about to get Razor Ramon and Big Daddy Cool Diesel. They got Lex Luger. They have the Nasty Boys. They have the Road Warriors. They have the Steiner Brothers. A lot of guys that came through the WWF were now in WCW competing on Monday Nitro against Raw. Maybe Vince thought the Warrior would help fight back WCW. I don't know. But I don't think any wrestling fan in 1996 thought, man, the Ultimate Warrior should be in the WWF. I remember having the BCA wrestling figure, the Jakks BCA figure of the Ultimate Warrior. He was in Series 2 of that line. And I kind of used him here and there, like if I needed another guy in the Royal Rumble or a Survivor Series member, or maybe like just a shocking match on Saturday Night's Main Event or Raw or something, whatever show I was doing for funsies. I'd have the Warrior show up every once in a while, but I never could do a program with him. It never felt right to say, the Ultimate Warrior is going to work a program with Farouk, or the Ultimate Warrior is going to work a program with Mankind. It just didn't feel right to say or do. So my Warrior BCA kind of didn't get the love like it probably should have. Here we see Inside Wrestling Ultimate Warrior from July 1996. Why he'll save the WWF and why he'll sink the WWF. Well, he didn't save it. I wouldn't say he sunk it either. He sunk his own career then, that's for sure. Like I said, he was only there for 3 months. He was supposed to be So he wrestled at the King of the Ring too, right? That's right. He beat Jerry the King Lawler at the King of the Ring. So he was on that pay-per-view. And he came out at the end of the night. Him and Ahmed Johnson were there to save Shawn Michaels from a beatdown by Camp Cornette of Owen Hart, British Bulldog, and Vader, setting up for the July In Your House match, which was supposed to be Camp Cornette versus Ahmed, Shawn, and Warrior in a 6-man tag from out in British Columbia. That pay-per-view was at in my country, Canada. But, of course, Warrior ended up having issues and once again was let go by the WWF. I remember he wrestled because Raw was taped, right? So there he's wrestling Owen Hart on Raw and getting beat down by Vader, Bulldog, and Owen and such. And they're hyping up Shawn Michaels having a new a partner to replace the Warrior. And, of course, that was the return to the WWF of Psycho Sid. So the Godwins lose at WrestleMania 12. The Body Donnas win the tag team championship, and the Body Donnas would go on to hold that title for 2 months before losing the belts to the Godwins. And then the Godwins would lose the belts the next night to the Smokin' Guns at In Your House. Sunny was managing the Godwins for that brief 24 hours, and then she went heel again and went with the Guns. But Phineas got his revenge here on an episode of WWF Superstars where he dunked the slop all over Sunny. And from my understanding, that wasn't just normal slop. That wasn't just vegetables and milk. I heard a lot of DNA went into that bucket when the Godwins left it in the locker room and said, this is going to be used on Sunny tonight. No one dare touch it. And they came back and the bucket was pretty much full. So, yeah. Ugh. Oh, well. Here we see The Wrestler, September 1996. It's a good look at all the stars who just, were a big part of WrestleMania 12. You got Shawn Michaels, dream comes true, winning the title. Sunny with the tag title, where she constantly kept managing teams. Goldust was the Intercontinental Champion at this time, who defeated Razor Ramon back at the Royal Rumble. He was supposed to wrestle Razor at WrestleMania 12. Razor he failed a drug test or something, and then he went to rehab or took time off. I forget what it was. There was a weird story there. Anyways, Roddy Piper took Razor Ramon's place, had the Hollywood backlot brawl with Goldust. And Ahmed Johnson, of course, getting ready to go for the Intercontinental title, and Vader and the Warrior as well there. So, yeah, that's pretty much right there. That's WrestleMania 12 in a heartbeat in those photos of all the stars there. What would come next was shocking after WrestleMania 12 because Big Daddy Cool Diesel was leaving the WWF. Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, had already told that he was leaving and worked out a deal with WCW. And Big Kev looked into it too, and he ended up working out a deal, so he was done as well. WrestleMania 12, the rumor was that Big Daddy Cool Diesel was actually set to defeat The Undertaker in their one-on-one match. So imagine this, folks. If Diesel, Kevin Nash, hadn't said to WCW, I'll come there when my contract's up in May, we may have never had the streak. The streak may have never happened in the WWF. Diesel was legit set to defeat The Undertaker that night because Diesel was going to be going into the program with Shawn Michaels at the next pay-per-view. And I have a feeling that maybe Vince still had big plans for Big Daddy Cool if he hadn't left the company. Vince was always a fan of Kev's work. And I think Diesel would have had a second reign as WWF champion. I often think maybe where Sid was at Survivor Series, maybe that was going to be Diesel, and Diesel taking the title there in Madison Square Garden again, right? That was very possible. Or maybe Diesel and Razor could have been a tag team in the WWF and went after the tag team titles like they did in WCW. But anyways, yes, Diesel was on his way out. There is the look he had at WrestleMania 12. He wore that outfit. That's right from WrestleMania 12 right there, that whole thing. He wrestled The Undertaker, like I said, but he was on his way to WCW. To end this video, I show this. It's Shawn and Sid, and the reason why is because Shawn Michaels' WrestleMania dream of winning the WWF title came to an end at Survivor Series 1996 at Madison Square Garden. Sid took the video camera on the outside and hit Shawn's mentor, the guy who trained him to get into wrestling, Jose Lothario, and Jose was having a heart attack or something because of that. Shawn was worried, and Sid took advantage, powerbombed Shawn, and got the 1-2-3, and the crowd at Madison Square Garden went nuts. They absolutely loved seeing Psycho Sid and the boyhood dream of Shawn Michaels. The New York crowd was not very friendly to Shawn that night. I think they just started to turn on him. I think, honestly, like, people say nowadays that a lot of the baby faces get turned on after so long. Like, it's almost like fans get bored with him. I feel like Shawn Michaels was the first that it happened to in 1996. Fans just got bored of him. They just didn't. They got tired of his stuff, and they wanted Sid to be the man. Speaking of Sid, congratulations to the legacy and memory of Psycho Sid, because he's going into the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame. It's too bad he didn't go in it while he was here with us on Earth, but the cancer got him pretty quickly from, at the end there when he passed away. I think it was last year he passed, if my memory is correct. Or it may have been 2024 now. Time goes by so quick, but it's just nice. I'm pretty sure it was cancer that got Sid, unfortunately, but it's just nice to know that Sid, his legacy is going to be acknowledged. He's going into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. We're still waiting to see if Danhausen's going in. He's demanding to go into it this year, so I'm sure if he's not, he will be making an appearance at the WWE Hall of Fame. That guy is super over right now. And I love it too. It's funny, but man, it's crazy how over Danhausen is. But speaking about being over, how over was WrestleMania 12? Was it a good event or not? It was the first WrestleMania to have a free-for-all. That's where the tag team championship took place. Let me put, that there. There we go. Let me do that. It was the first free-for-all for the tag titles. They were live on free. You could watch it free. The free-for-all was 30 minutes free on the pay-per-view channel before the pay-per-view happened. It was so cool back in the day. They even made a WWF videotape back in the day called The Best of the Free-for-all, and they'd actually show all those matches. It was kind of neat because you had at least two title changes on free-for-alls. You had the tag titles at WrestleMania 12, where the Body Donnas beat the Godwins, and you had the tag title change at In Your House. What was it called? Beware of Dog, where the Smoking Guns defeated the Godwins for the tag team titles. So, and then you had a lot of Savio Vega matches. But so that's it's just cool. I was a fan of WrestleMania 12. I was a fan of Shawn Michaels. That's mainly the reason why. I was only 15 years old when this event took place. And it's crazy now. I'm 45 now, but mentally I still feel 25. Physically, I probably feel 45, if not older some days. And it's just weird to think how quickly time has gone by. 30 years ago, WrestleMania 12 happened. 30 years ago, we were in the WWF New Generation era. 30 years ago, we were getting ready to see the birth of the New World Order on WCW Monday Nitro, when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash would jump ship and align themselves with a newly turned heel Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And they would go after WCW for years. So, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I'm putting out these videos a lot lately for two reasons. One, I want to see my channel grow, and I think it's helping. The more videos I get out, it's helping. And two, this is actually kind of fun. I'm getting to go through and look at these magazines and check them out. And so, yeah, it's pretty sweet. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and until I do my next one, I'll talk to you later.